On a video call with her sister, my girlfriend laughed. Relax, I'm just using him. I'd never marry a grease monkey. She had no idea I was standing right behind her. The next day, I canceled every subscription I'd been funding and served her eviction papers. She called me screaming. Hey Reddit, I overheard my girlfriend of 4 years laughing with her sister about how she's just using me, while I was planning to propose, thinking we were actually building something. What I did next made her go absolutely hysterical. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the shit show. Name's Devin, 35 male, and I run a custom motorcycle restoration shop outside Pittsburgh. We bring 40 to 70-year-old bikes back from the dead. Harleys, Triumphs, BSAs, old Indian Chiefs. The kind of machines collectors pay serious money for. The shop smells like metal shavings and penetrating oil. 3 bays, 2 lifts, walls covered in parts catalogs. Built it 8 years ago. Got 2 guys. Casper handles metalwork. Joey does paint and chrome. A real restoration takes 8 months and costs what a decent car costs. But when we're done, you've got something that'll outlive you. The business makes good money. I own the building. Drive a paid-off Frontier. Last year, the shop cleared $240,000. One restoration can run 30 to 60 grand depending on the bike. We had 3 in the bays right now. A 71 Shovelhead for a lawyer in Shadyside, a 58 Panhead that belonged to some CEO's dad, and a Triumph Bonneville some guy flew in from Texas to drop off. Been with April for 4 years. Met her at a barbecue. She worked in digital marketing. Pretty girl, seemed normal at first. Her family, though? Whole different thing. Her dad, Walter, was alright. Owns an accounting firm, asked smart questions. But her mom, Helena? Total country club nightmare. And Bianca, April's older sister. Works in HR, looks at me like I'm something stuck to her shoe. Every family dinner she'd make comments about how hard it must be to get clean after work. Last month, she'd asked if I'd ever considered opening a Jiffy Lube instead. More scalable, she said. 2 weeks before that, she told April she knew a great dermatologist for the grease stains on my hands. They weren't stains. That's what calluses look like when you actually work. Month before that, she'd sent April a job posting for a garage manager at Pep Boys and said it could be my big break into corporate. April showed it to me laughing. I didn't think it was funny. Bianca also had this habit of pronouncing motorcycle like it was 2 separate words. Motor, cycle, like she was talking to a toddler. But April always defended me. Talked up the shop, showed her mom photos. I thought we were solid. The apartment we lived in, my name on the lease. I covered it most months. I also paid for her Canva subscription, Adobe Creative Cloud, gym membership, Spotify Premium. About $230 a month. She needed Canva and Adobe for work projects, she'd said. Her company didn't provide software licenses. Found out later her company had enterprise accounts for everything. She'd been using my subscriptions to do freelance work on the side, pocketing the cash. 4 years of Sunday dinners. 4 years of Bianca's snide comments. 4 years of Helena asking when I was going to transition into something more stable. Then last Sunday, I found out exactly what kind of team we were. Sunday dinners at the Walters house had become routine over the years. Their place is in one of those gated neighborhoods, where every driveway has an Infiniti or Volvo. Big brick colonial, perfectly landscaped, 0 personality. Walter was always decent to me. He'd actually worked on cars in high school, had a 70 Chevelle he sold to pay for college. We'd talk engines, compression ratios, bore, and stroke. Normal guy stuck dealing with country club stuff he didn't even care about. Helena? Different story. She ran that house like it was her own personal kingdom. Everything had to be perfect. The napkins had to match the tablecloth. Dinner started at exactly 3 o'clock. If you showed up at 3:05, you'd hear about it. And every single time I came over, she'd find some way to remind everyone that I worked with my hands for a living. Devin, do you think you'll ever want to go back to school? It's never too late for a career change. Devin, Bianca's friend Rachel is dating a lawyer. They just bought a house in Sewickley. Do you know where Sewickley is? Yeah, Helena, I know where Sewickley is. It's where people with too much money and not enough problems live. Bianca was worse. She'd show up to these dinners with her fiancé Nick, some corporate guy who worked in medical device sales. They just bought a condo downtown, which she mentioned approximately 47 times per visit. Every dinner, same routine. Bianca would ask about the shop in that tone people use when they're pretending to care but actually judging. Still working on motorcycles, Devin? That's so hands-on. Then she'd turn to April and say something like, Sis, you're such a saint. I could never date someone who comes home dirty every day. April always laughed it off, told Bianca to shut up, defended me. I thought that meant something. Last Sunday started normal. Got to their place on time. Walter was watching the Steelers game. Helena was in the kitchen micromanaging a pot roast. Bianca and Nick showed up fashionably late. Dinner was the usual performance. Helena asking about everyone's jobs. Bianca talking about the condo renovations. Nick explaining his sales funnel. I mostly talked to Walter about a 67 Electra Glide I was rebuilding. He got genuinely interested. Asked about the Panhead engine, whether I was keeping it stock or modifying it. Nick jumped in at one point. So Devin, what's your exit strategy? You can't wrench forever. What happens when your back gives out? I told him I owned the building and the business. That's the exit strategy. Right. But have you thought about franchise opportunities? Multi-location scaling? Dude sold medical equipment to hospitals. Thought everything needed to scale. Helena interrupted to ask if I'd ever considered leveraging my mechanical skills into something more lucrative. I told her I made good money. She smiled that tight smile and said, Of course, dear. After dinner, Walter and I ended up in his garage. He'd kept some old tools from his car days and wanted to know if they'd be useful for motorcycle work. We were sorting through a box of vintage wrenches when April came out saying she was running to the store for Helena. Needed cream for the coffee. I stayed in the garage with Walter. We found a couple of good snap-on wrenches from the 70s, talked about metal quality back then versus now. Real talk between guys who actually know what they're looking at. About 20 minutes later, I headed back inside to grab my jacket. April's car was in the driveway, so she was back from the store. I walked through the kitchen and heard her voice from the living room. On the phone. The TV was off and Helena was somewhere upstairs. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I was literally just walking through to get my jacket from the closet. Then I heard Bianca's voice on speaker. So when are you finally going to trade up? You've been slumming it with the grease monkey for like 4 years now. I stopped walking. Stood there in the hallway. April laughed. Actually laughed. Oh my god, Bia. I know. Mom keeps asking when I'm going to get serious about my future. My stomach dropped. But I didn't move. He's cute and all, but come on. You work in corporate. You can't bring a mechanic to company events forever. What's he going to talk about? Spark plugs? Right? Last month we had that director dinner, and I had to actually explain what he does because someone asked if he owned a shop. I said boutique restoration. Tried to make it sound better than it is. I just froze there. Bianca's voice dripped with that smugness she always carried. April, you're too good for this. You need someone who matches your ambition. Someone who can network. Nick's buddy Lucian is single, works in finance. Total catch. I've met Lucian. He's nice. The way she said it. Like she'd already thought about it. Plus, he drives a Tesla and has a place in Shadyside with actual hardwood floors. Not that your apartment is bad, but you know. April giggled. I know. And Lucian wears cologne that costs more than Devin's whole wardrobe. Does Devin even own a suit? He has one. Wore it to his dad's funeral 6 years ago. Pretty sure it still fits, but moths might have gotten to it. They both cackled like it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. See? And he wears a suit to work. Not coveralls covered in motor oil. They both laughed. April's voice dropped a little. Honestly, the only reason I'm still with Devin is because the apartment situation is convenient. I pay barely anything in rent. He covers most of the bills, and it's a nice place. But long term, Mom would die if I actually married him. And there it was. 4 years summed up in one sentence. And the worst part? He doesn't even see it. He thinks we're this great couple. It's honestly kind of sad. Bianca cackled. You're terrible. I love it. How long are you going to keep this going? Until something better comes along, I guess. Free ride while I figure out my next move. I stood there for maybe 5 more seconds. Heard them move on to talking about some restaurant. Like they hadn't just torn apart my entire relationship and tossed it in the trash. I didn't feel angry. Just cold. Like everything suddenly made sense, and I could see exactly what I needed to do. 4 years. 4 years of Sunday dinners and family gatherings and me thinking I was building something real. 4 years of her telling her family I was a good guy, that she loved me, that we were partners. Total BS. I walked back through the kitchen, told Walter through the garage door that I had an emergency at the shop. He looked confused but nodded. I got in my truck and drove away before anyone could ask questions. The whole drive home, I was just figuring out exactly how to get out of this with maximum efficiency and minimum drama. Or maybe maximum drama. Hadn't decided yet. Got back to our apartment, sat on my couch, and started making a list of everything I needed to do. Because if April thought she was going to keep coasting on my dime while shopping for an upgrade, she was about to learn a hard lesson about consequences. I got home and pulled out my laptop. April wasn't back yet. Probably still at her parents' house. I opened a blank document and started listing everything. Apartment lease. My name only. Month to month after the first year. I could serve her an eviction notice as an unauthorized occupant. Subscriptions on my credit card. Canva Pro. Adobe Creative Cloud. Planet Fitness. Spotify Premium. Her car insurance. About $230 a month total. Pulled up my credit card statement. Added it all up. $271 a month I was dropping on her. Times 48 months. $13,000 in subscriptions alone. Utilities, electric, gas, internet. All in my name. Furniture. All mine except her dresser and that ugly bench from Home Goods. Started with the subscriptions. Logged into my credit card and canceled Canva, then Adobe, then Spotify. Planet Fitness required a phone call, noted to handle Monday. Car insurance would stay active 1 more week, then she was on her own. Changed all my passwords. Email, bank accounts, Netflix, everything. Went through my phone and deleted every photo of us together. All our memories gone in a few minutes. Drafted an eviction notice. Kept it simple. 30 days to vacate. Printed 2 copies. Looked up the exact legal language. Pennsylvania law was clear. She wasn't on the lease, had no tenant rights. Technically, I could have given her 0 notice, but 30 days made it ironclad. Around 7 April came home. Hey babe, where'd you disappear to? Everyone was worried. Had a client emergency. Old panhead started leaking. She bought it. She curled up next to me on the couch. I let her. No point tipping my hand yet. She scrolled through her phone while I watched the game. Probably texting Bianca. Went to bed early. She stayed up watching her shows. Or trying to. Pretty sure Netflix wasn't working because I heard her cursing at the TV around 10. Monday morning, I got to the shop before 6. Caspar showed up around 7. Found me already deep in a 72 shovelhead engine. Boss, you alright? I told him everything. He listened without interrupting. About time. Never liked her anyway. Why didn't you say something? Would you have listened? Probably not. Joey showed up around 8. Kaspar filled him in. Joey's response was simpler. Dude, she's been using you. Burn it down. Around 10, I called Planet Fitness and canceled. The automated system tried to guilt me into staying. Are you sure you want to cancel? Your partner will lose access. Yeah, that was the point. Then called car insurance and removed her from my policy effective the following Monday. The agent asked if she had her own coverage lined up. Told him that was her problem now. At lunch, I drove to the apartment, left the eviction notice on the kitchen counter, put the other copy in a folder, looked around the place one more time. 2 years of thinking this was home. Now it just felt like a place I needed to get out of. Her stuff was everywhere. Makeup on the bathroom counter, shoes by the door, that stupid motivational quote poster she'd hung in the bedroom about living your best life. The irony wasn't lost on me. I grabbed that poster off the wall and tossed it in the trash. I grabbed a box from the closet and started packing my personal stuff. Photos, some books, a few things from the nightstand. Didn't take much. Most of the important stuff was already at the shop or in my truck. Texted my buddy Silas. Need a favor. You still got that rental in Lawrenceville? Yeah, why? Need a place ASAP. Willing to pay full rate. What happened? Tell you over food. Can I grab the key tonight? Say less. Unit's empty. Silas had been my friend since high school. Played football together, worked construction one summer, stood up at each other's weddings before his divorce. If anyone was going to have my back without asking 20 questions first, it was him. April texted around 2. Hey, why isn't Netflix working? Probably an issue with the account. Make your own. Can't you just fix it? Busy. She called at 5. I let it go to voicemail. Listen to it later. More of the same. Devin, what's going on? Why are you being weird? Call me back. Drove home around 6:30. She was on the couch holding the eviction notice. Face red. She'd been crying or was about to start yelling. Maybe both. The TV was off. Her phone was face down on the coffee table. She'd probably called everyone she knew before I got there. What the heck is this? I set my keys on the counter. Didn't raise my voice. Exactly what it says. 30 days. We've lived here for 2 years. I've lived here. You've been crashing rent-free. She stood up. The notice crumpled in her fist. How did you... I was right there Sunday. Heard the whole thing. You and Bianca. Her face went white. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. 30 days. Find a new place. Devin, please. That conversation wasn't what? Real? Sounded pretty real when you were laughing about it. The crying started then. I'd spent 4 years folding. 4 years of making myself smaller, so she'd feel bigger. 4 years of ignoring the comments, the looks, the subtle jabs from her family because I thought she had my back. She didn't. Never did. 30 days, April. I'd start looking. Grabbed my gym bag from the bedroom. Walked past her standing in the living room, holding that eviction notice like it was written in a language she didn't understand. Left. Got Silas's rental key. Started planning my exit like it was a military operation. April launched her counteroffensive Tuesday morning. Crying phone calls started early. I was at the shop torquing head bolts on a 69 panhead when she called the first time. Let it go to voicemail. 3-minute message about how we needed to talk. How this was a misunderstanding. Ignored it. She called 6 times by 3 o'clock. I blocked her number. She switched to texting from her work phone. Devin, please just talk to me. You can't throw away 4 years over one conversation, I replied once. 30 days, start packing. Around 4, Helena called the shop. Kaspar answered, put her on hold, looked at me. It's the mom. Tell her I'll call back. You gonna? Nope. Helena left a voicemail. That edge in her voice she used when someone dared tell her no. Devin, April called very upset. Kicking her out is completely uncalled for. Call me immediately. I didn't. Wednesday morning, April showed up at the shop. Dressed for work. That serious face on. I saw her pull into the lot through the office window. She sat in her car for a solid minute before getting out, probably rehearsing what she was going to say. Kaspar and Joey both stopped what they were doing when she walked in. The shop went quiet except for the radio playing some old Stones song. Devin, can we please talk? 5 minutes. Nothing to talk about. 27 days left. That conversation with Bianca was just stupid sister talk. You agreed with every word. Called me embarrassing. Said you're only around because it's convenient. Her face flushed. She glanced at Kaspar and Joey, realized they were listening. Both of them were just staring. Can we do this somewhere private? Why? Worried about what people will think? She didn't have a response, just stood there. 27 days, April. Check Zillow. She left crying. Joey went back to polishing a fuel tank. Boss, you're ice cold. Just done. Thursday, the whole family showed up. Helena and Bianca. Power walking into the shop like they owned the place. They came in through the bay door, walked right past the employees only sign. Bianca was wearing heels. In a motorcycle shop. She stepped in a puddle of degreaser within 5 seconds and nearly ate it. Caught herself on a workbench. Helena didn't even notice, just kept marching forward. Helena went first. Devin, we need to discuss this. Nope, we don't. Excuse me? That tone. The one she used when the country club seated her at the wrong table. It's handled. Bianca jumped in. You're really throwing her out over one phone conversation? Over 4 years of being used. I kept my hands busy. Was reassembling a carburetor. Didn't even look up. Helena tried sympathy. Devin, I'm sure April didn't mean... She was laughing. Said the only reason she stays is because it's convenient. That you'd die if she married me. Helena went pale. Bianca's face fell. She said that on speaker. You were there, Bianca. Told her to trade up. Bianca stepped back. I didn't... I finally looked up, made eye contact. I'm not good enough for your daughter. You made that clear every Sunday. Turns out you were right. I deserve better. Dead silence. Kaspar was grinning. Joey had his phone out. Helena's face went red. How dare you? Every comment about my career, every reminder that I work with my hands. You've been telling me I'm beneath her since day one. We were just trying to help you improve yourself, Helena said. By telling open a Jiffy Lube to fix the grease stains that are actually calluses? Bianca tried to step in. April loves you. She's just confused right now. She loves my apartment and my credit card. 27 days, then she can go be confused somewhere else. They left, got in the Buick and drove off without another word. Joey came over, got that whole thing on video. Send it to me. Friday, April tried a different approach. Showed up at the apartment while I was packing. Saw the boxes and lost it. You're seriously moving? This is insane. Lease is month to month, I'm out. You've got 3 weeks. Where am I supposed to go? That's your problem. Maybe Lucian has a spare room. You're being cruel. I'm being done. You wanted to trade up? Go trade up. She tried to hug me. I stepped back. Don't. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. You made a 4-year mistake. You're only sorry because you got caught. I finished packing, loaded my truck, and left her standing in an empty apartment trying to figure out how it all fell apart. Kaspar texted that night. Heard the sister came by. Wish I'd seen it. It was beautiful. Helena couldn't even form sentences. Good. 3 weeks. She was panicking based on the Facebook posts about needing apartments. The free ride was officially over. The next 2 weeks were comedy gold. April started showing up at places she knew I'd be until Kaspar told her he'd call the cops for trespassing. Her social media became a disaster. Vague posts about how quickly people throw away years of love. The mutual friends picked sides. Most picked mine once they heard the actual story. April tried spinning different versions. They compared notes. Word spread fast. April's narrative fell apart. Bianca posted on Facebook about real love means forgiveness. Someone asked what she was talking about. She explained her sister's boyfriend was being cruel. Silas's girlfriend Sloane torched her in the replies. Posted the whole story. Bianca deleted the post within an hour, but screenshots live forever. April's college roommate messaged me asking if the story was true. I sent her the video of Helena and Bianca at the shop. She replied with, "Holy crap, you dodged a nuke!" Then she posted in their group chat. April got kicked out of the chat within 20 minutes. Then around this time, I met Alexis. She came into the shop looking for someone to restore a 1981 Honda CB 900 her grandfather had left her. Worked as a tattoo artist at a shop in Lawrenceville. Showed up in ripped jeans and a tank top with ink covering both arms. Had grease under her own fingernails from trying to fix it herself. She wheeled the bike in on a dolly. Thing was rough. Seized engine, rusted tank, cracked seat. Full disclosure, I tried to rebuild the carbs and definitely made it worse. She had this way of talking. Just straight up and honest, no BS. I liked it. We talked bikes for 20 minutes. She knew what it meant to her grandfather. She wanted to actually ride it. Her hands had fresh scrapes from working on it. She asked smart questions. Wanted to understand the work. When I explained the teardown process, she pulled out a notebook and started taking notes. We scheduled the bike. Alexis left her number for updates. Joey elbowed me after she left. Dude, she's into you. She's a client. She's single. And she actually knows what a carburetor is. Come on. Fair point. I texted Alexis that evening about the bike. She texted back asking if I wanted to grab food and talk restoration timeline. I said yes. We met Thursday night. Talked about her grandfather's bike, my shop, her job. She'd been tattooing for 6 years and had insane stories. Had a guy last week who wanted his ex-girlfriend's name, covered up with a portrait of his new girlfriend. They'd been dating 3 days. I told her about ridiculous custom requests. The woman who wanted her deceased husband's ashes mixed into the paint of his old Harley. Did you do it? Yeah. Painted the tank deep metallic blue with his ashes in the clear coat. She cried when she saw it. Alexis got quiet. That's really cool. You do work that matters. We talked until the restaurant closed. We just enjoyed the conversation. Meanwhile, April's move-out deadline was days away. She'd found an apartment in Shadyside with 2 roommates. Downgrade, but that's what happens when you burn bridges. Saturday before her deadline, she showed up completely messed up. I signed the lease. Happy now? Ecstatic. Rent is $1,200, plus utilities. I was paying you $600. You were paying $600 when you remembered to, and I paid everything else. I can't believe you're doing this. You did this to yourself. I left. Last time I saw that apartment. That night, Silas threw a gathering. Close friends, food, good times. Alexis came. She fit right in with everyone. Silas pulled me aside. Bro, I like this one. She's normal. It's been 3 weeks. April sucked. This girl seems cool. He wasn't wrong. The subscription cancellations hit hard. Turns out she'd been using my subscriptions for her actual job. Productivity tanked. She had 3 client presentations that week. All of them needed graphics she'd normally make in Canva or Photoshop. Couldn't access either. Asked her company for emergency software access. They told her to use the enterprise accounts she'd always had. She had to admit she'd been using personal subscriptions instead. Her boss wanted to know why she was expensing software the company already provided. Awkward questions followed. Her supervisor put her on a performance improvement plan the following week. Missed deadlines. Quality issues. Unauthorized software usage. April posted a cryptic Instagram story about toxic work environments. Someone from her company saw it and reported it to HR. Gym cancellation killed her prepaid trainer sessions. Best part? Car insurance lapse. Got pulled over 2 days later. No insurance, no registration. Car impounded. State trooper pulled her over on Route 28 for a broken taillight. Ran her info. Insurance showed canceled. Registration was expired too. Had been for 3 months. She'd ignored the renewal notices because I usually handled that stuff. Impound fee was $350. Daily storage was $45. She didn't have the cash. Car sat in the lot for 6 days. Had to borrow money from Helena to get it out. Helena made her sign an actual promissory note, with interest. Silas sent me her Facebook post. Worst week, car towed, unexpected expenses, moving. Someone asked about the car. She blamed her ex. Sloan. That's not spite. That's consequences. Post deleted. Roommate disaster. One worked nights, one filmed TikToks. She was already trying to date some office guy. Not going well. Shady Side rent was $1,200. Her third of $3,600. Silas's rental was perfect. $800 a month. Could work on bikes in the lot. Alexis came by more. For her CB 900 or just a hang. Coffee, stories from the tattoo shop. One night we grabbed pizza. She showed me photos of her grandfather racing flat track. He died when I was 16. The CB 900 was in his garage. Dad was going to sell it, but I asked to have it. I showed her tear-down photos. Your grandfather would be proud. Thanks for taking this seriously. Devin, I know you just got out of something. Not rushing, but I really like hanging out. Same page. That night, April called from a blocked number. Devin, please. 30 seconds. I made a huge mistake. Been seeing a life coach, and I want to try again. Not happening. People change. You're just broke. I'll pay you back. I've moved on. Find someone else. Hung up. Blocked. Caspar texted. April just called asking me to convince you. What did you say? Told her to lose my number. Said you were seeing someone. Why? Because that tattoo artist is perfect. Maybe he was right. 3 months later, life had never been better. The shop was crushing it. We'd finished Alexis's grandfather's CB 900, and when she saw it, she cried. Original paint scheme. Chrome perfect. Engine running like a sewing machine. She'd taken it to a vintage bike meet and won best resto in her class. Came back grinning with a trophy and told me her grandfather would have loved it. We'd started officially dating about a month after her bike was done. No games, no wondering if she was embarrassed. She told everyone proudly that her boyfriend restored motorcycles. Posted shop photos on Instagram. Brought her artist buddies by to see projects. One of them ended up commissioning a 73 Ironhead restoration. Walter reached out. Apologized for Helena's behavior. Asked if I wanted to grab lunch. We'd been meeting up every few weeks to talk bikes and life. Turned out he'd been miserable in that country club world for years. Thinking about buying a bike himself, maybe a touring Harley for weekend rides. Helena's not thrilled about it, he said over lunch one day. I'm shocked. She'll get over it. I'm 62. If I want a motorcycle, I'm buying one. I helped him find a clean 2015 Street Bob. He picked it up last week, grinning like a teenager. Said it was the first thing he'd bought for himself in 20 years that Helena didn't approve first. Bianca had split from Nick. Heard he'd been cheating with someone from his office. The condo they bought was being sold. Karma's real. April? Spiraling. The LinkedIn posts about new beginnings had devolved into desperation. She'd bounced between 3 jobs in 2 months. The roommate situation fell apart. Moved again to a studio that cost more because it was trendy. Mutual friends kept me updated. I didn't ask, but people are always up for the drama. Then came the night that cemented my legend status. Silas's birthday. Rented out the back room at O'Malley's. This place with cheap wings and good atmosphere. Alexis came with me. Caspar and Joey showed up. About 20 people, all good vibes. We'd been there maybe 2 hours. I was at a table with Silas and Caspar arguing about the Steelers. Alexis was at a table with Silas's friends. Then the door opened and April walked in. Completely wasted. Fully stumbling, slurring. Hair messy, makeup smudged, wearing a dress way too formal for O'Malley's on a Thursday. Carrying a small box. The room went quiet. Silas looked at me. Bro, yeah. April spotted me and started weaving over. Bumped into a table, apologized to it. Kept coming. Caspar, this is about to be incredible. She got to the table and tried to look serious. Failed. Devin, I need to talk to you. You're wasted. Go home. No, I need to do this. The whole back room was watching. Alexis stood up, confused. April opened the small box. Expensive looking. Probably more debt. Devin, I made a mistake. The biggest mistake. And I've spent 3 months realizing how much I threw away. You're the best thing that ever happened to me, and I was too stupid to see it. I want to marry you. April, I have a girlfriend. I pointed to Alexis, who waved. April looked at Alexis, back at me, back at Alexis. Drunk brain short-circuiting. Who is she? But we were together for 4 years. Yeah, and we've been done for 3 months. Move on. Silas's girlfriend Sloan stood up. April, he's literally on a date. Read the room. Joey yelled from the back. She called you a charity case at Sunday dinner. April's face went white. She turned to face the crowd. Realized she just proposed to her ex in front of 20 people, including his new girlfriend. Face went from pale to red. You moved on that fast? I moved on when I heard what you said. This is just me being happy. Ring box still open. She looked down at it, then at me, then at Alexis. Started ugly crying. mascara running down her cheeks in black streaks. Couldn't catch her breath. The whole room could hear her gasping. This isn't fair. You were supposed to wait. Kaspar didn't miss a beat. Wait for what? You to finish shopping? A few people laughed. Not just our group. Random people in the room. April crumbled. Her shoulders shook. The ring box slipped from her hand, hit the floor. The ring popped out, rolled under a chair. Nobody picked it up. All of you think this is funny? I'm pouring my heart out. Joey from the back. You said he'd be embarrassing at your company events. Sloan. Told your sister you were only with him because it was convenient. April looked around the room. Every single person was staring. Not with sympathy. More like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Someone had their phone out. Definitely recording. She bent down, grabbed the ring from under the stool with shaking hands. Started to stand up. That's when Silas did it. He pulled out his phone, opened Venmo, and typed something. Hit send loud enough for people to hear the notification sound. My phone buzzed. Everyone close enough to see Silas's screen started cracking up. April froze. What did you just do? Silas held up his phone so the whole room could see. Just sent Devin a Venmo request. For 4 years of rent and subscriptions, you should have paid $28,800. Time to settle up. People were howling. Someone spit out their drink. The server was laughing. April's face went from red to purple. You can't just... Oh, I can, Silas said, waving his phone. It's public, too. Kaspar pulled out his phone. Someone tagged her work account. Someone else yelled, add the car insurance she never paid back, Silas typed. Good call. Adding another $3,500. The notification sound went off again. April looked like she was having an out-of-body experience. Someone screenshotted the request. That screenshot hit Instagram before she made it to the door. April looked like she was going to be sick. The ring box was shaking in her hands. Sloan leaned over to Alexis, loud enough for people to hear. I like your boyfriend's friends. Some guy in the room yelled out, decline that request, brother! You don't owe her nothing! April snapped the ring box closed, turned and literally ran for the door. Slammed into a chair on the way out. Dropped the ring box, didn't stop to pick it up this time. Just kept running. Silas walked over, picked up the ring box from the floor, opened it. Squinted at the ring under the lights. Hold up. He turned to the server. You got one of those jewelry loops back there? The server, still grinning, pulled one out. Left behind by some pawn shop guy last year. Silas examined the ring. Then he started laughing so hard. What? Kaspar asked. Silas held up the ring for everyone to see. Cubic zirconia. She was gonna propose with a fake ring. The room lost it. Next round of wings on the house for that level of petty, the server announced. The whole place erupted in cheers. I just sat there shaking my head. She really came in here with a $40 fake ring. And the audacity of a millionaire, Joey added. Kaspar raised his drink. To cheap women with expensive audacity. The room roared approval. Someone in the back started a slow clap. Then the whole room joined in. A standing ovation for the greatest public rejection O'Malley's had ever seen. The server brought over 3 free appetizers to me, Silas, and Kaspar. For the show, gentlemen. Alexis came over. So that was your ex? She seemed stable. She's a mess. Not my mess anymore. The rest of the night was perfect. Everyone wanted to hear the full story. I told it once for the group. People were dying. Someone called it the most justified revenge campaign in history. The shop was busy. Work meant something. I had friends who had my back. Walter and I grabbed lunch every couple weeks. We were planning a weekend ride through the mountains next month. April was back at her parents' house, probably getting lectured by Helena while Bianca judged from the next room. And I was here, happy, free. Living proof that sometimes the best revenge is walking away and building something better while the person who used you implodes.